Hi, my name's Chelsea, and this video is for anybody who is dealing with the rebellious spirit. So chances are it's for youngins and their parents as well, who are also going through this. Now, I am going to be speaking directly to the youngin in this case, but I do think your parents should either watch the video with you so that they can get an idea, they can be a part of the conversation, and also because I'm not trying to plant any seeds or anything. I just want you to know that I am 35. I have a little boy who's going to be, he's about 3.5, and he is a very independent little boy, and they say that that is actually a very good sign of independence of a human being who's going to be able to take care of themselves, even though it's hard for me sometimes because I have to say no a lot. It's really ultimately the best because he is super independent. I am also very independent, and the reason I want to put this video out is because of the air of the political, social air. First of all, I would highly suggest getting the book Wild Swans. It is about 3 generations of women growing up in communist China. And the reason why I think this is an important book is because it teaches us that powers that be have an ability to get the common layman to do things against their own families and friends in the name of righteousness and politics, when in all reality it is just a few people basically controlling and messing with the lives of others. And that's happening right now in the schools. In the schools, they're teaching young kids to rebel against their parents. And it's one thing to say, stand up to authority and question authority. If you are in your heart, you know something is wrong, listen to your heart and don't let anybody make you feel bad for it. But you also have to do the same for them. And if in somebody's heart what they're doing is right, and they truly believe it's right, nothing that anybody says is going to change that. The storyline of Wild Swans goes to show us that none of this is new. That these battles, these generational battles, because this is a generational battle, it's like they're trying to make it generational, because the younger generation has an identity in their LGBTQ politics and terminology, and it is being skewed into hate crimes towards people who have no idea and shouldn't really actually know what any of these terms are. When I was a young girl, when I was 16 to my early 20s, I rebelled against my parents heavily. I was lucky I didn't get in like a lot of trouble with like cops or anything like that, but I definitely did not. Not only did I not respect them, it's not that I didn't respect them, it's that I equated them to non-freedom, and I wanted to be free. And it took me a long time to understand that my parents, and all parents, are just people, and they don't know better. I was a firstborn, and I'm a firstborn child, and to this day, I'm always going to be the experiment, in the sense that they've never had a 35-year-old child before, and we're always going to be experiencing that new thing as parent and child. But once I started realizing that they were just people, it made my need to rebel change. Now we still have and had issues, but it's not the same. When I was younger, I believed it. When I was younger, I believed that I knew what I was talking about, which I did. In a lot of things, I did. But what I didn't understand was that they too had been young ones. And what some adults forget is that they too had been young ones. And that fiery kind of rebellious nature that we all have when we're growing up is very real and can be used for really good things. But if we are being puppeted and taught to fight battles that don't belong to us, whether that's a battle that is like within the walls of the homes that we grow up in, or a societal battle, we have to learn throughout our lives to discern what are our battles to fight, and when we get emotionally charged about doing the right thing, I just want you to remember that the right thing always to do is to stay calm and to breathe and to remember that things are not as bad or as good as they seem. It's all very relative. What's important to you now will change, and that is because you will have different needs. You may always love art, right? Like you may have been an artist since you were a young kid, and you're an adult now. That might never change. You might always love art. The kind of art you do might change, but you'll probably always love art. But like, your needs will change, and that's going to make what you think you need also change. If you're a young child and you have somebody changing your diaper, you're going to want to be around that person that changes your diaper. You know, it's natural and normal. And then when you get to a point where you don't need that person, you know, the best thing to do is say, thanks for wiping my ass, on with the show. That person doesn't want to wipe your ass forever either. Hopefully, you know. We live in an age of information where there is a lot of information, and it's making people be kind of arrogant, because knowing isn't necessarily being right. And simply, just even without wearing makeup or doing our hair, our bodies and our images change throughout our life. You do not look like the little baby that you were when you were just fresh born. And when you're an old person, you're not going to look like that young chap. But that's not bad. So there's no rush to change our bodies into something when it's already changing. And I'm telling you now that the need to rebel against certain powers that be, certain authorities that be, will change for you. And I'm saying this because when we're passionately moving through life, we make big decisions that are really hard to go back on, and it's not necessarily bad or good. It's just that I can see through it. I can see through what's happening. Like every generation we're always going to be peers to those in our generation. So all the people that I grew up with, they're always going to be my peers, even when we're 80 years old. And it's going to be the same for all of the ages that come after me. But that doesn't give me and my peer group any superiority over the peer group that came after or before us. We still all share the planet together. And there's time to solve problems and and to learn our purpose and our path. Anything that makes you feel like you're running out of time, don't listen to it. Maybe you did run out of time, but then it wasn't meant to be. Don't let nobody pressure you. And buy your parents some flowers, and don't tell them why. Just say thanks. And parents, remember that you were kids once too. And not in a competitive way, in the sense that you know what it's like to be underage, to not be allowed to vote, to not be allowed to make certain big life decisions when you feel like you're fully capable and ready to, and what that's like. And I just really suggest studying studying these plights that people have been fighting for. Like, the people that have to stand up for themselves are different than the ones who just are being rebellious just because they can be. There's a huge difference, and it's really important to keep that in mind when choosing our battles wisely. Alright, I hope this video helped somebody, and God bless you and your beloveds,